Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. So Tatsuki Fujimoto, they are the author of Chainsaw Man, which I'm going to be starting in October, but they also have done a series of various one-shot manga. I really think that it's kind of cool how Fujimoto has gone from just doing Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch to taking a break and doing all these one-shots, and then they're coming back and doing Chainsaw Man and like restarting the series. I think that's really cool. So I've heard through comments on Patreon, YouTube, and in the Discord that the author, the mangaka of Chainsaw Man is releasing, there's going to be like a big giant collection of their one-shots, like 8 altogether, that's going to be released, which is really cool. But I wanted to go ahead and, as we're waiting on Chainsaw Man to come out in October, go ahead and look at the 3 main ones that I've heard about. There has been Look Back, Goodnight Eri, and then the most recent one that came out this last April, which was Just Listen to the Song. Now, I'm kind of doing this in a reverse format. I'm going to start out with the shortest of the group, which is Just Listen to the Song, which is the one I have up today. And then the next one I'm going to be looking at is Goodnight Eri, and then rounding out with Look Back before we start Chainsaw Man. So I think that's pretty apt. Like, we're going to look back, as that's going to be the last one that we look at before we start Chainsaw Man. So I've heard really good things about Chainsaw Man. My brother loves the series, loves the manga. I've heard that Fire Punch is amazing eventually. Since Fire Punch is complete, I would eventually like to go back and read Fire Punch with y'all. It'll just be a matter of time and where it fits and everything. So I'm reading a lot of manga right now, so I think that eventually once I get back into doing the majority of it being anime or Danmai or Donghua, then maybe I'll have like a manga slot when one fills up and we can have Fire Punch as an option for it. So, but in the meantime, this is a very, very short one-shot. Just Listen to the Song it's very short, and it's just 20 pages. Goodnight Eri is like 200 pages, and Look Back's like 145, so they're much bigger pieces that will take a lot more longer time to look at. But this is just a short 20-page one-shot, but I'm fascinated by this author, this mangaka, as a storyteller, and so I wanted to look at these 3 pieces and kind of talk about similarities, talk about differences, and hopefully it will give me an idea of what to expect with Chainsaw Man without spoiling me on anything. So that's kind of my goal on there. So yeah, I want to just look at this one shot and just see what in the world it's about, because apparently people are talking about Fujimoto, and I want to see like what kind of mangaka that they are, and I think these one shots are a great way to do it. So with that being said, we are going to look at Just Listen to the Song, and I'll have it in a separate reaction here, and then we'll go back and talk about it. But let's see what this little short one shot's all about, right? We're going to start that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh my gosh, what? What? Interesting. Oh my gosh, that was like, in 20 pages, that could have been the start of like a whole manga series. It could have been. Wow. Ooh, okay. So this mangaka already, like, just the idea of something. What I like about it is in one vein, it could be like the start of an entire series if they wanted to, but then they shut that down so quickly and just make it a one shot and make it like an open book shut case, like this is the end of the story. But that ambiguous ending and just kind of dour and despairing. Great. Cool. That's what we got to look forward to, huh? Awesome. So yeah, so this kid, we don't really get his name. They're left pretty much nameless in this, which is a one shot and it's only 20 pages. That 20 pages, that was like, I was wondering how in the world would you get a cut and dry story in 20 pages. No, they do it. They absolutely do it. Just listen to the song. And so he confesses to this girl that he says he's liked ever since middle school. And the mangaka intentionally draws them kind of like goofy and kind of like dorky, and she's just sitting there on her phone like, thanks, and I'm like, dude, he gives her like the thing to his YouTube channel. And so, okay, so the story is by Tatsuki Fujimoto and the art is by Odo Toda. Okay, so the artwork is by Odo. Interesting. I'm gonna be curious to see in the other 2 series if Toda does the artwork for Fujimoto's stories or not. Interesting. But he uploaded this love confession onto YouTube. Case in point, do not do a love confession on a video. If you're going to confess to somebody by song, play it in front of them, please. Don't upload it on YouTube because of what this is representing. So he goes back there and they've all been looking on their phones Like, by the time she gets it, she shares it. She's kind of a bitch. Like, I know she gets next to him at the end, and we'll talk about that, but I'm like, girl, that was mean. Like, if you didn't, you should have just ignored it. If you're going to give him just give him the answer and move on. But she shares it to everybody as a joke, right? And, well, seemingly as a joke, right? He's like, my man, and they're like, oh, and they get all up on him, and they're like, who uses YouTube to ask a girl out, and what's up with this song? And so she says that your video was so hilarious, I had to share it over line. And she says, sorry is my answer to your confession. So she does like two horrible things. One, she uploads it and shares it with everybody when clearly that was meant just for her. And two, she, rejects him and his offer. And there's a part of me that wonders if maybe she was kind of proud that he'd done this for her. There's a part of me that, especially with the ending, at the ending, if she was basically kind of being like kind of proud that he went to all this trouble to record this song just for her, and she was trying to share it, but everybody else finds it. So I wonder if she shared it and then everyone else found it funny and she just kind of went along with it and was like, oh yeah, no, that's totally awful. Like, no, I'm not into him at all. Like, I wonder if she secretly found it to be somewhat good, like she liked it, but when she shared it, everybody thought it was a joke, so she kind of went along with it. Either way, it's kind of a bad move. I'm like, girl, that's awful. Like, he clearly was confessing to you and sharing his heart, and you took it and made it something, but that's what this is. It becomes something that it's not. She takes this heartfelt confession and turns it into a joke, which that was not the intention, right? And from there, it kind of just explodes from that point, where everybody kind of laughs at him, and he goes home, and he's sitting there, and he's like, it's a disaster, what was I thinking? And it has like 202 views, and so he's going to delete it, and then he notices something, right? And so when he notices something, it's like already up to, I don't know how many, like so many views. He's like, if you stop the video at 248, I wonder if it's a comment he was seeing. And plus the people there that are walking the halls, they don't seem to notice him, despite the fact that he created it, which seems kind of on the nose. But he's like, that's a ghost, right? And so they see this ghost in the video, which he's like, what the heck? And then there's this girl, and she's like, form is emptiness. Deleting it will anger the spirits. You've been warned. And it's like, that could have been the basis of like a whole series, right? That girl just showing up, the blonde girl that looks like the ghost. Like, she's never really explained. And so he's like, what the heck? So that whole idea of form is emptiness. That like how you did it is not really the heart of the matter, right? It's not how you did it, it's what you're saying maybe. Like, that form is emptiness line is interesting. And we never see her again. And he's like, so was my room haunted? But then it's already up to like 320,000 views, right? And then people are like catching things in there. And he's like, well, I want to delete it because it's embarrassing. But she said I'd get cursed. Who even was that? And then he sees all these people looking at it. Like, everyone is looking at the video, the reverse confession video. And he's like, supposedly play backwards is a criticism of American gun control. And he's like, why would people think that? So again, it's taking that initial thing where the video was just meant to be a simple confession. She took it as one thing different. It got altered into this and just keeps getting altered over time, and kind of shows it. The message of it is, once you put something out there, it's very much the death of the author that's being explored here by Fujimoto, is that once you put something out there, it's no longer yours, and people can start taking it as their own means and kind of going along with it. And he even tries to like comment and be like, oh, I never thought about it. And somebody was like, yeah, sure. This just proves that it was serious. And he's like, no. He's like, and they're like, if it was sheer chance, it's divine. Is it divine revelation? And he's like, I don't know. I was just putting out a love confession. It's gone. The trajectory's gone out of my control, right? But once you put something out there, then it's no longer yours to command. It can become whatever. And so then somebody, like, they start seeing a cat and they say it symbolizes the sun. They're like, there's a skyfish in the window. They're like, if you translate the video into Spanish, the song denies the existence of God. There's more ghosts, and it just gets more and more views. And I don't know if that's kind of a thing where it's like, I don't know if it's kind of a situation where if it's simple enough, people will take it and run with it and interpret it however they want to, and you can't stop that. There's that idea. But then there's the concept where people keep being like, upload your next video. They're like, hurry up, another ghost one preferably. And they're like, is your next song going to be an attack on Japanese politics? Like, people keep requesting things and asking for more things, and you're like, and as somebody that like creates content, and I'm sure as a mangaka, then you're like, you know that feeling of like, whoa, all this pressure and requests and stuff, like, it'll be okay. And then he's like, everyone gives me requests this work. Is your second song done, sweetie? Like, even his mom is like, people are requesting you to do something. So he does. He's like, this is my channel, and my second song is called Just Listen to the Song. And it says that there's only 9 comments, 30,000 views, and 37 likes, 18 dislikes. And it was streamed 2 days ago. So it got a lot of initial views, and then that was it. But when he looks up at the crowd, nobody's on their phone anymore. Nobody's on their phone. So, which is funny, nobody cares anymore. It's like they moved on to the next thing. And he's like, nobody's expectations were met in my second video, and it was globally panned, and people lost interest, and I deleted my videos. Which is, yeah, it's all that. It's like one hit wonder. Like, everything was built up, and then it all came crashing down, and they didn't see a need for it anymore. And so he's like, I didn't meet up to expectations, and the hype was gone, and so then I deleted my videos because it was like, over. And then that girl shows up, the girl that he confessed to, and she gives him the earphone and shares it with him. And it's the song that he made, and she says, deleting your videos was pointless. Everyone already downloaded them anyway. And she said both songs. So the second song and this one. So the second song was meant for her too. It was another love confession song that he wrote. She's like, both songs are about when you sketched me in middle school art class, right? So cringy. And yet, the fact that she remembered it and knew exactly what he was talking about. And then you see like him crying, and there's like a tear going down his face. And he just kind of like is overwhelmed. And she's just sitting there listening with him. So it's like, on the one hand, is he crying because he's like, she realized that she did notice all along, but why did she say no? Why did she say sorry? Like, why was she the worst? And then she comes up to him. I'm like, did she only come up to him after he became famous and listen to the second song? But she knew all along what it was about. So I'm like, it's kind of like she took advantage of him, even though she was awful to him despite knowing where he was coming from. It's really sad. It's like a bittersweet. It's not a good ending because on the one hand, you want to like support them and be like, oh yeah, she like knew it was you. Like, she knew what the song's context was the whole time. Like, she's known you've liked her, and so she came to that conclusion, and she sat beside you on the train and shared her headphones with you, and it should be this romantic thing, but it's not, because she's kind of a bitch, because it's not cool because she made fun of him and made him a joke, and then had all this stuff happen to him, and then he just basically deleted the videos that were his confession, and it kind of makes it all seem superfluous. So it just leaves it all out there in the open. But it's like him with his head down against his bag like that, and her just staring at her phone like it's nothing. It's such a bittersweet ending. It's bittersweet. It's like there's nothing good about it. It's like it's really sad. And it's framed in this context where it seems like it would be something that would be romantic, but it's really not. It's kind of haunting. So that's what we're getting into. So that's what we're getting into. Awesome. Great. Wonderful. No worries. It's fine. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be looking at. This was the shortest one. Just Listen to the Song was the shortest one shot, and it was the most recent. It came out in July of this year. So it came out at the beginning of July of this year. So it's fairly recent and just came out, right? But the next one that I'm going to look at, which was Goodnight Airy, it came out a little bit sooner, and then Look Back came out last year in 2021. So I'm going to be looking at those two next and kind of reacting and reviewing. I'm going to react to Goodnight Airy because I've never read it before and talk about it. Look Back, I read back in like July of 2021, and I was going to do a video about it, and I just never got around to doing it, and so I haven't read it since then, and so I'm going to go back and talk about it page by page, but I'm probably not going to do a reaction of it. It's probably just going to be me talking about Look Back, but I am going to do a reaction kind of like this with Goodnight Airy because that story is really long, and I've heard it's really good, so I don't know, but this was interesting. Just the concept and the commentary of creating something and it getting out of your control, and then people catching on, and kind of like the popularity of it, and what do you do, and sort of like everything else that goes along with it. It was very, very intriguing, very interesting. And this character, we don't ever get his name or the girl's name. It's just, that's not important. So yeah, this was interesting. So I'm liking the mood and tone that Fujimoto's setting in his writing is really good. I'm excited to read Goodnight Airy, but we'll be doing that next. And so yeah. So I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I'm curious to know your comments down below. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with Goodnight Airy by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Bye.